Hope you had a nice welcome into India House. Our Dwarpal, Mr. Praveen, the security person, or the Dwarpal as we call it, stays the furthest from the palace. But he's the most important because he guards the entry, he regulates friends, restricts the enemies. The guest is always very sacred to the Indian heart, to the Indian house. The bindi which you put, we actually call it a tilak, is a welcoming entry. It's like a pass that your friends, you are welcome here and you should have a good time here. And of course flowers. Flowers are the gifts of nature. So it's a special Indian greeting for special guests like you.
Namaskar. Atithi Devo Bhava.
Hospitality of the Indian inhabitants is in high esteem since ancient times. Following the traditions of his homeland, the ambassador of India, Partha Satpathe, made an excursion around his residence, which is called the House of India.
I would show you incredible India to begin with, and nothing can be more significant and important than the Taj Mahal. It's pure poetry in marble, and it's the epitome of love. And it's a sign of our beauty in architecture and the strength of our tourism, of our attraction. And here we move to South India. South India, as you know, is a land of temples. Temples of all styles, of all designs. And the very distinctive feature is the Gopuram, the welcoming gate through which you enter into the main temple. As you know, it's the triumvirate in our mythology. So we have Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So the creator, the maintenance god, and the god who makes sure that nothing evil stays on the planet, which is Lord Shiva. So most of the temples in South India are dedicated to Lord Shiva.
The two-story building with a beautiful wrought iron balcony, where the residence of the ambassador of India is located, dates back to the 19th century. Once it belonged to the old family of Counts Stengel, which settled in Kiev.
I live right next to the Golden Gate. This in ancient times used to be the gate through which people would enter into Kiev. And if you cross the Golden Gate, you come to India House, and that's where I live. So it's a beautiful part of Kiev, historically, architecturally, very, very rich.
The residence of the ambassador gives the impression of a museum for any connoisseur of Indian culture. Here you can see such traditional musical instruments as tabla, sarangi or a flute.
Flute is my personal favorite instrument. Flute is both a music, but it's divine also, because one of our most famous gods, Lord Krishna, plays the flute. And he plays it not only to seduce, but he plays it also to resolve problems. Free time is something I have to carve out from your working day, and I believe it's very important. You may be as busy as you can be, but if you don't carve out your own free time and space, you cannot be creative and productive. I love playing golf, which I think will start soon, and I'm told there's a beautiful golf course here. I love playing cricket. I was very happy to know that there's I think 6 to 8 teams of cricket which play the game of cricket here. Listening to music, about reading is another of my passions, and meditation. Apart from that, I live right next to the opera. Something beautiful is always happening in the opera, and the Philharmonic is equally close by. So I have plenty of avenues and I'm going to use them.
On December 26, 1991, India recognized Ukraine as a sovereign and independent state, and already in May, the Embassy of India started its work in the Ukrainian capital.
The entire gamut of political, economic, cultural, educational, scientific, all these strands underpin our bilateral relation, and that's why the bilateral relation is very strong. You know, India and Ukraine have diplomatic relations right from the beginning. India was one of the first countries to recognize independence of Ukraine. And after that, the trajectory of our bilateral relations has only seen an upward swing. And this is because of a variety of factors. One, of course, is that our understanding and appreciation of a functioning democracy. And India is the largest democracy on the planet. We have been practicing democracy since the days of our independence. Economics has always underpinned every political relation. That's my understanding. And as economic relations become stronger and stronger, the political relations coalesce around this.
Today, India has become the fifth country in terms of the volume of exports from Ukraine abroad. The annual increase in Ukrainian exports in the past few years was about 20%.
Today, we have a bilateral trade of more than $3 billion. And the good thing is, this balance of trade is in favor of Ukraine. And what do we get from Ukraine? Lots of agricultural products, which is oils, and processed food, cereals, and various kinds of grains which we consume, right up to aircraft parts, maintenance of aircrafts. So the range of the spectrum, if you see, is almost like that of an oscillating pendulum, right from here to that end. And this determines how qualitatively strong our relations are. Last year, we also had the joint working group with our defense cooperation. And defense, as you know, has been another pillar of our bilateral interaction. In fact, the readiness of our defense forces to some extent relies on the readiness of Ukraine in maintaining all this equipment.
According to the pharmaceutical industry development strategy adopted in India, the export growth in this industry until 2020 should reach $250 billion. Today, India is the main supplier of pharmaceutical products to Ukrainian pharmacies, which accounts for 28% of total exports of Indian products to Ukraine.
Pharmaceuticals is a very important sector of our bilateral economic cooperation. And it has been the efforts of successive governments of India to provide affordable and accessible health care to its citizens. We have more than 100 GMP-certified manufacturers of pharmaceuticals who produce top-quality medicines. Of course, generics is one aspect of this medicine, but cutting-edge medicines, be it cardiovascular or cancer-busting drugs, all these drugs are also being manufactured in India and at a price which is affordable and accessible. And this is what our manufacturers are bringing to Ukraine. I'm thankful to the Ukrainian government and especially its pharmaceutical regulatory authorities and your Ministry of Health for encouraging this inflow of Indian medications and Indian medicines into Ukraine.
The field of education is traditionally actively developing. Every 10th foreign student in Ukraine is from India, and in 2017, the number of Indian students in Ukraine set a record in the entire history of diplomatic relations between Ukraine and India.
By a rough estimate, more than 10,000 students studying in Ukraine. And this is a major part of your educational system too. These are paying students. And at a rough estimate, I can say it's almost $50 million a year, which these students bring into the country. Why? Because the education system in Ukraine is attractive to them, and they're very keen to study medicine, engineering, in which you have well-developed institutions and schools. So it's a two-way and win-win situation for all of us.
During the visit of Pavlo Klimkin, the head of the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry in India in 2017, the two countries agreed on joint film production in Ukraine. The film, The Winner, became the first Indian movie, which was filmed in Lviv, Rivne, and even the center of Kiev.
Bollywood has had success across India. Now this industry has moved out of the borders of India. It's across the globe, be it Latin America, Europe, America, Africa, Asia, because they also project a kind of cinematographic appeal that is universal. Be it brotherhood, be it love, be it solving family situations, be it overcoming adversities. And I'm happy to tell you that in Ukraine, Bollywood has always had a big fan. I meet people who have seen Raj Kapoor movies, who have seen Mithun Chakravarti movies, to current movies by our current popular stars. And of course, our Bollywood heroines are idols. They're extremely versatile, very elegant, and the Ukrainians appreciate this. Culture is something that binds without the necessity of any other prop, be it political or bilateral. And this is the beauty of cultural relations between our two countries. Ukrainians have a deep appreciation of Indian art and Indian culture. We have more than 50 schools which teach here Indian dance, in yoga, Indian music. And the good thing is that this is all done by Ukrainians themselves, who have taken upon themselves to learn it, appreciate it, and go to India, further master it, come back to Ukraine and then give this knowledge to all the young Ukrainians. I can tell you the example. I was, just as I arrived, the 19th edition of the Rhythms of Joy Dance Festival. Now this is a big festival, and we have about 300 to 350 groups which participate in this festival, and all about Indian culture, Indian dance, Indian music.
It is believed that the god Shiva presented the people of India with the dance, and often in order to understand its meaning, it is necessary to become familiar with classical myths and epic poems. In addition, each region has special movements and dance forms. After all, India is the most amazing country in the world in terms of national, linguistic and religious diversity. In India, people believe that with dance one can spiritually become better. Therefore, it is also called Bhakti Marga, the path of devotion. The second way of self-knowing is yoga.
The yoga is the other part of our holistic living gift to the world, and Ukrainians have embraced yoga wholeheartedly. There are a lot of studios which teach yoga. We, in fact, in the embassy also have regular classes on yoga. And what interested me most was youngsters are enjoying to do yoga. Now, you would question me, why is that? And from what I can see, in a stressful world that the students live in today, yoga is a beautiful way to relax and detox. So both physically, it is energizing, and meditatively, those students who practice yoga in its meditational aspects find peace and calm.
India is visited annually by more than 10 million travelers. Along with Egypt, Turkey, Sri Lanka and the United Arab Emirates, Indian resorts are among the top 5 favorite destinations of Ukrainian tourists. The most popular destination, except for Goa, is the so-called Golden Triangle, the cities Delhi, Agra and Jaipur, where you can see ancient palaces and forts.
Tourism, of course, is it's the industry which gives the citizens of both countries an opportunity to see for themselves what is it that is so great in our bilateral relation. In terms of tourist figures, I would think about 30 to 40,000 Ukrainians travel to India every year.
Indian tourists have only started to discover Ukraine. From April 2017, a Ukrainian visa is issued to citizens of India at the airports, and from May 2018, direct flights Kyiv-Delhi were resumed. Thanks to this, last year more than 45,000 Indians had a chance to enjoy the beautiful historic sites of Ukraine.
Ukraine is a beautiful country. I mean, since the day I have come, I've been appreciating every little thing. I came here in late autumn, and the first thing that I just was struck by was the colors of autumn. Winter, it snowed very soon, and it was beautiful to see whole of Kyiv bathed in white, and especially when it comes to that temperature where it melts and then the snow sticks, it's like all silver on trees. I must say, I've been very happy till now. Now I look forward to spring, and in summer I'm told it's going to be a green park. So I think I'm going to have a good time here. Ukraine is environmentally very, very progressive country. I'm told in summer it becomes a green park. And Ukraine also has a lot to offer, right? Mountains in your Carpathian regions down to the Black Sea, with wonderful warm waters. So all this would be very appealing to Indians. When you walk the streets of Kyiv, and I'm told even when I went to Lviv recently, in the mall, people were recognizing me as Indian. I think it's the sensibility of a human being, the ability to be eclectic in your appreciation of your surrounding. This is very common between Indians and Ukrainians. And well, we both practice democracy. Anyone who takes the bold step to embrace democracy is a tolerant human being, is an understanding human being. But there are avenues by which you can dissipate this tension and these differences and resolve it peacefully.